God's still making miracles exactly the same way He has been from the beginning of time to now. You could put our story right in there with these other miracles.
So in 2000, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. I was 14 years old, and I had 6 tumors in my neck and my chest, all ranging from the size of a quarter to the size of a softball. I always thought that, my whole life, I've always thought that my story, the story that God was writing for my life, ended when I beat cancer. And this experience has made me realize that that was just one chapter of the story that He's writing in our lives, and the story just keeps getting better.
All right, so that was 2000. Fast forward to 2010 was the year we got married, and we knew because of Mandy's cancer history there was a chance that we couldn't have kids. But we knew that. We got married. 2015, everybody knows Liam was born, and so we had figured, obviously, that's not our case. Liam was born July 2015. Fast forward to spring 2016, we started having the discussion of, okay, we'd like to have a second kid. We'd love these kids to be close together in age and be close as siblings. And so if we start the process now, we're looking at 18 months, 2 years between kids. That sounds great. So we tried and tried, and nothing happened. And Mandy's at her annual cancer checkup. She gets a screening every year. And the doctor says, well, cancer-wise, you're fine, but some numbers on your blood test are off, and I want you to go see your primary care physician. And so then the OB refers us over to a specialist. We're at our 4th doctor. We're at a pretty well-renowned fertility specialist, and the fertility specialist says, I want to do this extensive blood work that takes 6 weeks to get the results back. So for 6 weeks, we're at church praying for a miracle. God said He's not done writing our story. We want to ask Him for a miracle. He's going to be glorified through this somehow. And after 6 weeks, Mandy goes back to the specialist, and the specialist says, well, yeah, you are full-blown into menopause and have no viable eggs left. But that's irrelevant, because you've got this incredibly rare genetic disease that's so rare I've never seen it. It's called the balanced translocation of chromosomes. And that will preclude you from ever having kids before this menopause. So, of course, Mandy's reply was, well, we kind of already have one. And to which the doctor replied, I can't explain that. That's a miracle. And we realized we've been praying for a miracle this whole time, and we had ours. We had our miracle. Liam is a literal physical miracle. Doctors can't explain it. He shouldn't be here. And so we realized, I guess I should have been more specific with my request for a miracle. And so there was a brief window in there where we thought that fertility treatments were an option before we knew about the chromosome disease, and so we explored that for about 2 minutes, and I said, you know what, if we're going to spend $50,000 at the chance of having a baby, I'd rather spend $50,000 and look into adoption. There are a lot of kids who are already born who need a good home right here in our own community, and this was God giving us that swift little kick of motivation, nudging us in the right direction, saying, hey, I've been telling you to do this, you're not listening, I'm not sure, so go, I want you to adopt. And then He convinced us to foster. So we prayed about it, and we jumped in head first, and we got dual license with the state of Texas to foster kids and adopt. And then we went from 1 to 4 kids, all 2 and under, in under 2 weeks. But then the story gets another wrinkle. About 5 or 6 weeks ago, I'm walking in the second floor of the education building at church during the worship service. So everyone has moved from the education building down to worship service. It's pretty vacant. And I'm walking through and I see one of the widows at the church. And she's carrying a lot of bags. She's one of our Sunday school teachers. And I said, Marilyn, it was Marilyn Riordan. I said, Marilyn, let me help you carry your bags downstairs. And she said, I had a dream that I and your mother-in-law and Mandy were at the hospital and Mandy was in labor. And I said, oh, okay, that's nice. She doesn't know this story, that we're not able to have kids. And I said, that's a nice dream, okay.
So she tells me this, and it kind of made me scratch my head a little bit, because about 3 weeks before that, Barbara Ross came up to me and she said, I had a dream that you were pregnant. And Barbara knows the story. She knows that we can't have any more kids. But it was right around the time that we got our first set of foster kids. And so I told her about those kids, and she, we kind of just thought, well, maybe that's what the dream was about. It's just adding kids to our family, but it was, by fostering. All week, it's just kind of stayed with me, that both of these ladies had a dream about me being pregnant, and knowing that we couldn't have kids, it was just kind of strange, and I couldn't really get past it for some reason. So later that week, almost a week later, I woke up on a Saturday morning and I said, I'm just going to take a pregnancy test just to see what's going on. And so I walked in the other room and I told Matthew, hey, I'm going to run to the store and get a pregnancy test. You stay here and watch the kids. And he was like, right now? And I said, yes, I need to just figure this out. And so I went to the store and got a pregnancy test and came home and I took it. And sure enough, we're pregnant.
It was positive. God has worked another literal physical miracle in our life, and he prophesied it directly through the dreams of some of the ladies at our church. And it's been a roller coaster ride to be a part of, and we have been excited to be a part of it. God's been doing this since the beginning of time. Abraham and Sarah, Elizabeth, John the Baptist, Mary and Joseph with Jesus. God's in the miracle business, and you can add Matt and Mandy Reeder right on the list of those names, and it hasn't changed. And God's still speaking directly through dreams, speaking directly to them to us. So the doctors still kind of say, yeah, you can't, but you are. And we're still following the doctor's advice, but we're putting all of our faith in the fact that Barbara dreamed Mandy would get pregnant, and Marilyn's dream was that Mandy was in labor, and so that's where our faith is, that you can put our story right with all the other stories in the Bible. God's still the same God he was yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and he's still performing miracles the same way he has since the beginning of time, and we get to be a part of this one.